Welcome to the next country guide. This time we are here in, either France, Greece or Portugal. Those last three guides will have this exact same audio, and that's for two reasons. On the one hand, there is little to actually teach here that hasn't been covered before. But more importantly, it raises the chances for more people to hear some of my opinions about the WRC, rally sims and electronic arts. The latter, as it turns out, has not changed a bit in the last decade. Another successful and beloved franchise and development studio has been destroyed by EA. The WRC license has been cancelled, Codemasters employees have been laid off, and all further development for this game has ceased. To be honest, this game doesn't feel finished. It feels like a good base to polish, but this polish will never happen now. No finished stable VR, no enhanced graphics and better immersion, no refinement of the horrendous UI or the single player, and so on. For me, that means no more chances for Electronic Arts. This was already their second chance in my book. They destroyed the Burnout series, they destroyed SimCity, they destroyed Mass Effect, destroyed the good old Need for Speed, and now destroyed the Dirt series. It sadly also means this business model is working for them, and they will continue to do it because it works. No matter how good the product, this company will get no money from me again. Freaking frustrating it is, this whole situation. It seems dark on the horizon for future rally simulations. What we would need, in my opinion, is something like Project Cars 2. That game really grew the sim racing scene and brought in a lot more customers, therefore interest for dev teams to develop better racing sims. It portrayed motorsports in a gritty, raw and challenging way. The immersion was on another level compared to something sterile like Assetto Corsa. And one would not need the official WRC license for a good rally sim. The current WRC is digging its own grave anyway if the FIA continues the way it does. We're down to 2.5 factory teams, with one of them probably pulling out soon. The rules forbid the exact things why a manufacturer enters motorsport. Either they want to do marketing and the cars resemble something you can buy from them, looking at the Mitsubishi Evo or the Subaru WRX, or the manufacturer can develop cutting-edge new technologies to trickle down into their main development and their main products. But in the WRC it's like, no, you use this frame for everything, print some plastic panels that maybe look like your car if you want, and own technology? No, use this standard EV system from some no-name company and only ever install an ICE engine with this many cylinders and exactly this displacement, and so on and so forth. If I had a car company, I would not enter the WRC either. Want to prove your EV tech can take on any ICE car? No, not here. Want to test if maybe an opposed boxer engine layout has an edge here? No, also forbidden. Want to test if your new car chassis can take any abuse from enthusiast buyers? No, very forbidden. My point being, the interesting WRC years are currently in the past and don't require an official license. Moreover, one could imagine a whole off-road sim collection, like Project Cars had several motorsport series covered as well. Or like how older dirt games were made, just doing that with a simulation approach. Well, one can dream. Sad days. Anyway, this has lowered my motivation to make guides for this game a lot, but I am kind of a completionist. So there's 3 left. You'll see a relatively good run on the rally currently. There is not much to say anyway, let's get through them. France, aka Monte Carlo. It presents exactly the same challenges as it did in Dirt Rally 2, so I'd recommend watching my older guide on it. The graphics there look also more immersive too. Greece. Same as France, same challenge in driving. I also made a good guide in Dirt Rally 2, we'll link both of them in the description. The rocks, dust, lightning and overall atmosphere also look better than here in the Unreal Engine. And now this game will never look any better because development has stopped. And finally, Portugal. This is the challenging, in my opinion, the most difficult location to master in the calendar, simply because it has the most variation. There are fast bits, slow bits, narrow bits, asphalt bits, jumping bits, technical bits and relaxed bits. The problem is, whenever you tune the car for one of these areas, it gets worse in another. Which leads me to say, the default setup is good here. Well, at least as good as it gets. Because it makes it equally challenging in all those different bits. But beware, this is only true if your driving skill is roughly equal for all those challenges. If your skill has lacking areas, I would tune the car in Portugal especially for those areas, and deal with the downsides in the areas you can drive better anyway. For example, tuning the car much like Finland to deal with the fast high-speed sections and jumps, but then compensate with your driving skill for the other areas. So, what works best for you in Portugal really depends a lot on yourself. It is the true melting pot of rally location. Well then, this concludes my content for EA Sports WRC. Maybe some might still find this valuable, even despite how this game's story has ended now. And I hope my little rant was at least a bit entertaining. I'll have to see how the future entries of this channel will look and which racing will be featured. Until then, I wish you, one last time, tranquil madness.